Today, I will provide a summary of an American supernatural horror film titled Carrie. Margaret White, a misguided religious extremist, holds the belief that everything is sinful, particularly if it involves women, their bodies, and sexuality. In the film's opening scene, she is seen on her blood-soaked bed, screaming in agony and pleading for God's forgiveness for her sins. Margaret is so detached from reality that she mistakenly believes she is dying of cancer, when in fact, she is in the midst of giving birth. When the pain finally subsides, she looks down and is stunned to see a newborn baby girl. Margaret believes that this infant is the consequence of the sinful act she committed with her former husband. She retrieves a pair of scissors, preparing to kill the baby, but finds herself unable to follow through. The baby girl is later named Carrie. Throughout the years, Margaret imposes her religious convictions on Carrie, depriving her of any freedom. Carrie is forbidden from making friends, interacting with men, and is kept away from school for the majority of her life. When Carrie reaches the age of 16, children's rights activists forcefully intervene, compelling Margaret to allow her daughter to attend high school. However, due to her antisocial and introverted nature, Carrie becomes a target for ridicule. She remains silent, unable to communicate with others, and is shocked by the sight of girls revealing cleavage or couples engaging in displays of affection. The concept of dating is entirely foreign to her. During a water volleyball game, Carrie accidentally strikes Sue, the popular girl, in the head. Chris, Sue's friend, takes this opportunity to mock Carrie, and the rest of the students join in on a laughter. After class, they all head to the shower room to change. It is during this time that Carrie experiences her first period and becomes overwhelmed with panic. Having never been educated about menstruation or female anatomy, she mistakenly believes she is gravely ill due to the blood running down her legs. Desperately seeking help, she frantically approaches the other girls, only to be met with further ridicule from Chris, who realizes Carrie's lack of understanding. The situation escalates as the girls join in, throwing tampons at her while recording her distress. Although Sue feels sympathy for Carrie, she remains silent, fearing social isolation. The torment only ceases when their gym teacher, Miss Desjardins, arrives. However, Carrie's panic continues, resulting in a screaming and crying panic attack, even after the girls stop. In an attempt to calm her down, the teacher resorts to slapping Carrie across the face. As the girls walk away, Carrie directs her anger towards a light bulb, causing it to coincidentally shatter. Upon learning of the incident, the principal grants Miss Desjardins the authority to punish the bullies as she sees fit. He also informs Carrie that her mother has been called, urging her to calm down. However, the thought of her mother discovering her period only intensifies her anxiety, leading to hyperventilation and the mysterious shattering of a water cooler in the room. Later on, Margaret, Carrie's mother, arrives to pick her up and witnesses Chris and her boyfriend engaging in intimate behavior. Concerned about such negative influences, Margaret prays for divine intervention to guide these spoiled individuals towards a better path in life. During their journey home, Carrie questions her mother about why she was never taught about menstruation, but Margaret remains silent. Before exiting the car, a neighbor child labels Carrie as a weirdo, prompting her to gaze at him, causing him to fall off his bike. These peculiar occurrences have been happening to Carrie for the past few months, leaving her bewildered and unaware of the cause. Margaret slams her head against the wall inside the house, begging for forgiveness from God for bringing her daughter into the world. She goes as far as fabricating Bible verses to convince Carrie that menstruation is a sinful act, making her a sinner. However, Carrie knows the truth because Miss Desjardins had already explained menstruation to her. She stands up for herself, stating that it is a normal part of being a girl. Margaret responds by hitting her with a Bible and locking her in a small praying closet, demanding that she only come out once she has asked God for forgiveness. Carrie screams in anger, causing the door to crack. She then notices a bleeding sculpture of Jesus. Meanwhile, Sue and her boyfriend Tommy are in Tommy's Jeep. They decide to make love in the car, but afterwards, Sue feels guilty for not helping Carrie in the shower room. On the other hand, Chris is at her house with her boyfriend Bully. Unlike Sue, she feels no remorse for her role in bullying Carrie and even goes further by uploading the video of the incident on the internet to humiliate her. In the house, Margaret sews clothes calmly while singing songs, seemingly forgetting about what happened with her daughter earlier. After confirming that Carrie prayed to God, Margaret finally releases her from the closet. The next day at school, Ms. Desjardins gathers Chris, Sue, and the other girls involved, imposing a punishment of suicide sprints for an hour every day for the rest of the week. Disobeying will result in being denied access to the upcoming prom. Chris challenges Ms. Desjardins, calling the punishment unfair, but Ms. Desjardins suspends her and revokes her prom privileges. Chris tries to rally the other girls to support her, but no one, not even her best friend Sue, stands by her. Meanwhile, the entire school watches a video of Carrie being bullied and mocks her. They even spray graffiti on her locker, humiliating her further. Filled with rage, Carrie goes to the bathroom and focuses on the mirror, causing it to shatter with her stare. She realizes that she possesses the power of psychokinesis, the ability to move objects and people with her mind. To learn more about her power, she visits the library and reads books on psychokinesis. The information she finds convinces her that having such power is normal for some people, just like menstruation. In the upcoming class, she is asked to come to the front of the room and read a poem. After she finishes, Sue's boyfriend Tommy quietly insults her, but when asked to repeat himself, he praises Carrie's poem instead. Carrie is shocked and bashful that a guy complimented her. Meanwhile, Chris contacts her lawyer father to come to the school and challenge the decision to revoke Carrie's prom privileges. Carrie portrays herself as the victim, accusing Ms. Desjardins of verbally mistreating her. To disprove her claim, Ms. Desjardins requests Carrie's phone, which contains a video of her bullying Carrie. However, Chris refuses to hand it over, revealing her guilt. Later that night, Carrie tests her abilities by making books and her bed levitate. Margaret hears a noise and goes upstairs with a knife to investigate. By that time, Carrie pretends to be asleep, causing Margaret to put the knife down. The following day, Sue asks her boyfriend Tommy to take Carrie to the prom. She believes that Carrie deserves to have one enjoyable night and is willing to sacrifice her own senior prom. Tommy initially wants to go with Sue, but after being persistently urged, he agrees. He then approaches Carrie and invites her to the prom. A surprised Carrie assumes it's a prank and runs away. Later, Miss Desjardins discovers Carrie crying in the locker room. When she asks what's wrong, Carrie confides in her about Tommy's proposal. The teacher supports Carrie, but she is aware that Tommy sees her as an outcast. She seeks out Sue and Tommy, warning them to reconsider if they plan to humiliate Carrie. After school, Tommy drives to Carrie's house, much to her dismay because she doesn't want her mother to find out she talks to boys. He insists that he will only leave if she agrees to go to prom with him. Carrie reluctantly agrees, but sets the condition that he must bring her home by 10:30 p.m. She is thrilled to finally feel like one of the other kids. In preparation for prom, Carrie goes shopping but can't find any dresses within her budget. Instead, she buys fabric to sew her own dress. Chris spots Carrie shopping and becomes filled with anger. Along with her friends, she plans to play a prank on Carrie at prom. When Carrie returns home, she finds an angry Margaret waiting for her. She informs her mother that she is going to prom, but Margaret adamantly refuses to allow it. Carrie becomes frustrated and uses her telekinetic powers to release her anger. Margaret assumes that the devil has possessed her daughter and begins praying to God. Carrie asks her to stop, but Margaret prays even louder. Eventually, Carrie levitates her mother, silencing her. She releases her mother a while later, declaring that the conversation is over. Meanwhile, Chris and Billy are at a farm with their group of friends. They collect blood by slaughtering a pig. Then, they break into the gymnasium, which is also the prom venue. They set up the bucket filled with pig blood, intending to dump it on Carrie when she is on stage. On the night of the prom, Carrie prepares herself and puts on light makeup. She looks amazing, but she feels extremely anxious. Margaret advises her to dress modestly, but Carrie doesn't bother arguing with her. Margaret tells Carrie that everyone will mock her, which only adds to her nervousness. In order to calm herself down, Carrie locks her mother in the prayer closet before leaving. When Tommy sees her, he is left speechless. They go to the prom together, holding hands, and Tommy introduces her to his friends. Ms. Desjardins also compliments her dress and encourages her to have a good time. As time passes, Carrie starts to relax and feel more comfortable around Tommy. Later on, they even slow dance together. The night couldn't be any better for Carrie, until Billy and Chris unexpectedly enter the venue. They hide beneath the temporary stage, waiting to carry out their plan. They have manipulated the prom king and queen election to ensure that Carrie and Tommy win. Once the couple steps onto the stage to receive their awards, they will pour a bucket of blood on Carrie. Before the election, Chris sends Sue a message saying they will embarrass Carrie. Sue rushes to the prom to stop it. Tommy and Carrie become prom king and queen. They go on stage while everyone claps. Sue arrives at the building and sees Chris about to pour blood on Carrie. Miss Desjardins sees Sue and thinks she wants to ruin the moment. She locks Sue in a room without listening. Chris pours the blood on Carrie. She also shows a video from when she got her period. Everyone laughs and Ms. Desjardins tries to help Carrie, but Carrie has lost control and pushes her away. Tommy gets hit by a pail and dies. Carrie screams and pushes the crowd away. Chris and Billy escape in a car. Carrie locks all the doors and windows. She throws tables and chairs at the crowd, killing them. Some girls are trampled and killed. The place catches fire when Carrie breaks the lights and wires. She puts Ms. Desjardins on the stage and kills the rest of the crowd. She flies outside to find Billy and Chris. They drive away but Carrie chases them. Billy tries to hit her with the car, but Carrie stops it with her power, and he dies. Chris tries again, but Carrie crashes the car into a gas station. She watches as Chris slowly dies stuck to the windshield. After that, she returns home and notices that her mother is not in the prayer room. She takes a bath to wash away all the blood. Margaret finally appears before her, and Carrie embraces her, admitting that her mother was right about everyone mocking her. Margaret believes that she is being punished for her sins with her husband and stabs Carrie with a butcher knife. Carrie tries to defend herself, but Margaret becomes frenzied and chases her into the kitchen. She pins Carrie down and is about to stab her again when Carrie uses her power to stop her. She sends multiple sharp objects towards Margaret, crucifying her. Then, she cries while holding her dying mother and regrets her actions. Finally, she uses her power to destroy the house. At that moment, Sue arrives at the house and attempts to stop Carrie. She is about to kill Sue as well but stops when she realizes that Sue is pregnant. Carrie smiles and reveals that it is a girl. She sends Sue outside to save her from the collapsing ceiling. Moments later, Margaret and Carrie perish under the crumbling house. Several months later, Sue is in a hospital bed, screaming in pain while giving birth. Suddenly, a bloodied hand emerges from her, and she wakes up, realizing it was just a dream. Her mother comforts her as she hyperventilates, fearing that she is about to give birth to Carrie.